Route 53 is Amazon's service for DNS management both inside and outside AWS. It allows you to easily configure domain names to resolve to internal AWS services. You can use domain names that you already own or can register new ones through AWS. DNS stands for Domain Name System, and the purpose is to translate a human-readable URL into an IP address so that two computers can connect. EC2 instances can be configured with public IP addresses, but certain Amazon resources like S3 buckets or load balancers are a little more complicated and don't have static visible IP addresses. That's where Route 53 comes into the picture, allowing you to set up URL resolution to AWS resources directly, bypassing any need for you to see an IP. Of course, behind the scenes, IP resolution is happening, but Route 53 conveniently abstracts this away. Although Route 53 is very straightforward and kind of basic, I include it with the core AWS services because it's the best way to let others interact with your application or other AWS services. The URL is ubiquitous these days, and Route 53 is how you make URLs resolve to AWS services. Route 53 works by first setting up a hosted zone. A hosted zone is basically a root domain name, like example.com or google.com. Using a hosted zone, you can use Route 53 to set up subdomains like www.example.com or mail.example.com and configure them to route to AWS resources. You can create record sets like A records, CNAME records, and MX records for those subdomains. Route 53 pricing is fairly straightforward. It costs 50 cents a month for each hosted zone, then 40 cents per million queries, and any DNS entries that you add in a hosted zone are basically free. They don't change the cost. And that's pretty much it for the breakdown of Route 53 pricing. There are a few more features that Route 53 provides. One of the most useful that I've found is the health check service. This allows you to set up regular checks for a given URL path. Health checks will send you alerts based on different rules. For instance, if the URL request gets a response of 503 or 404. This is an essential tool if you have a customer-facing web application. And at 50 cents per month for each alarm, it's not hard to justify the value of something like this.